no doubt we've seen someone on Twitter who perhaps normally posts about kids or cats suddenly let fly with a really nasty comment and keep them coming. They might have become an online troll. So how does this happen and what are the warning signs? Well, for more, we are joined by human behaviour expert Mark Carter. Nice to see you, Mark.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hey, talking about trolling, many people have accused the American president of trolling. Let's start with criticism that he tweeted of 4 congresswomen of colour claiming that they came from other countries, even though 3 of them did not. He added this: why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? Then late last week there were chants of send her back at one of his rallies. Have a listen.
Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
I disagree with it, by the way, but it was quite a chant.
Mark, your first warning sign for trolling is that you feel jealousy for the attention others receive online.
It can be. I find Donald Trump fascinating, though. If Donald Trump was like another science experiment in a laboratory, he'd be the Petri dish and the cold thing that you'd handle with care with the hazmat, because his default is attack everybody that has a different opinion. So when I think of Donald Trump, it's just his behaviour. It's not all of him. It's just sometimes his behaviour is default. If he's jealous or not, only Donald Trump would know.
Don't all politicians do that, though? Don't all politicians have nasty attacks on each other?
Maybe, and maybe that's the environment. He's got personal choice. So if that's his default mode, seems to me, looking at it from a behaviour of one of ego, that's all. And not everything's worth attacking everybody about, that's all.
But what about, you see a lot of attacks on Donald Trump, obviously online as well, which are equally filled with, you know, crazed sort of abuse and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Is trolling, does trolling just beget other trolling? And is it okay, you know, do you say, oh, well, it's okay if you're attacking? Because I often find that people say, well, it's all right if you call Donald Trump X, Y, or Z and hurl all the abuse at him.
Yeah.
But it's not okay when he does it.
I agree. I think it does beget it. That's the point, is I got a personal choice. I don't have to buy in and do the same back.
Yeah.
I can look at a conversation with a balanced discussion rather than attack somebody personally. That's part of the signs.
And there was also in 2012, at the US election debate, we saw a whole bunch of really interesting stuff happening. But one thing was a Conservative commentator who insulted Barack Obama and caught plenty of flack. I think she called him a quote-unquote retard.
Yes, and that's what triggers it, right? It's the use of that language, which is really derogatory. It's like an insulting one, and people took offence to the use of the language, not so much the idea that Barack is fair game as a politician himself. So.
Now, Australian TV personality Charlotte Dawson was targeted by trolls before she took her own life in 2014. Yeah. Now, she had tweeted asking for social media to stop the pile-on with trolling. Here's what she said. Like Facebook, Twitter have the capacity to triage complaints, but they choose not to. Money, not safety, shameful. Do people tend to troll as a group?
Yes, there's safety in numbers. In fact, there's an interesting experiment from 1974, the Milgram experiment, where people were asked to deliver an electric shock, not knowing that the shock was artificial, but they were delivering high doses of that shock because somebody of authority said it's okay. Now, if you relate that to social proof as well, we look at our social media, a digital world, and look at our leaders, which is why it's not so great that a world leader behaves that way, because it begets the behaviour of others. Others look at that, it becomes the social proof, the social norm and a standard, so I'm going to join in. So yes, there's safety in numbers.
But where does the empathy go? Where does it, oh, imagine what that feels like for that person. Where does that go?
That's not there yet. That's why you're detached. You're not necessarily connected with the empathy. Unless you've got empathy as a skill that you've worked on, you're really aware, you need to actually almost feel the consequences of your action. I mean, there's instances where trolls have actually backed down, apologised and deleted their fake accounts because they've realised the human cost. But it takes that empathy and connection to the empathy before they're willing to do so.
Wow. So do you think that you can generalise about who people are that troll?
No.
You're anonymous trollers?
That's the world. I mean, there's people that do really deep work, like Ginger Gorman, who's got the book, Luke McMahon, and they really go deep in that world. From my perspective, I look and go, don't think of trolls as subversive individuals, loners hiding in basements, because actually a lot of them aren't. A lot of people are trolling. They're not anonymous. They're willing to put their opinion out and attack you directly. So it's trolls are you and me. Trolls have got jobs, working, parents married. Just they can be you and me. It's the behaviour.
I think that's a very interesting point. I remember years ago I was doing a forum about trolls, and actually there are people who are sort of almost professional trolls who actually go out and deliberately do it for that, and they do have those sort of 4 sort of psychopathic qualities. But then there's this other kind of category, like you say, of people who end up sort of subsuming their own individual identity to this greater sort of organism that is this sort of mob mentality. And I think we saw it with Adam Goodes, to be honest, where you would have thought that none of the individual people who were booing him or whatever would have thought, oh, I'm going to go to the footy and be a racist today. But once you get caught up in that mob atmosphere, it turns into almost its own monster. And you see it, I think, when people are trending online. I've certainly copped it. Lots of people have copped it. People think, oh, what's going on here? I'll get in on that action. And so you sort of lose your own identity completely.
Yes, the safety in numbers is back to that one. It's kind of following the pack mentality that can pick up, for sure.
And what do trolls get out of it? I mean, do they, you obviously see political trolls who are there kind of for a purpose to kind of maybe sway opinion on social media, but, you know, the older woman who decides to go on a Facebook page and write nasty comments under people's pictures and that kind of thing, is that their way of feeling a bit powerful? Or?
From a human behaviour piece, I would say this. You can think about it all you like. You are never going to know the motivation for that person of what they get out of it. You're guessing. And you could go loopy trying. So I'd say don't worry and think about what's going on for them. If you're on the receiving end, come back to yourself and think, what's your strategy for handling it, and worry less.
And what is that strategy?
That's a great question. There's multiple ones. Not every comment, though, and back to the point about Trump, not every comment made is trolling. Somebody could challenge your opinion, but they're not insulting you. That opens debate, that opens perspective, that allows us to grow and learn. So you can actually take those conversations and reply and engage with the dialogue. It's the vicious, nasty, insulting, attacking ones where you've got to choose a strategy for yourself.
And what should you do?
Well, there's multiple paths. Choose your path. Taylor Harris, she took it head on, pushed back. The sporting body and the public got behind her. And what did that do? It diluted the power of that message. But a lot of individuals haven't got that weight behind them. As Seth Godin says, you know, the only people that normally think about trolling are the troll doing it and the victim on the receiving end, and nobody else really cares. So forget about what's power to them. What's my power? How do I get calmness back in my world? And how do I get serenity back? And if that means delete, filter, block, do that. But find a way, so find a strategy to bring your own power back and worry less about them is what I would say.
Log off.
Or just
there you go, that's another one.
Mark Carter, always great to chat. Thank you so much.
Thank
Love
you
your
very
work.
much.
We are
Thanks for
back
having me.
in a moment for our exclusive interview with Corporal Klinger from MASH. Don't move a muscle. We're back after the break.